Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Kalachandi, Radha Kalachandi, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Govind, Radha Govind, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadrama. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य श्रुत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्तिवेदांता स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की। नमः ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य श्रोत्र श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। रामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की। गंगा माई जमुना माई की। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की। श्याम वेद भक्त वृंद की। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari We were on fourth canto, but I mean, today is day off, so we can just read. You put it on her. Put it on her. Let me get my glasses.
You know where we were reading at? Okay.
Up to 11 verse. So we are going
Chapter,
to start
what
from
chapter?
But I think they
Yeah. Maharaj put it as- No, we don't. We are not in this. We are on part two.
Ready?
This is part one.
Okay, we found the verse. We have found the verse.
Okay. So this method. We are on this.
want to start.
Nardo vacha sa ekaramahe vashuhuratam panchasam asugam vishvam dvichakramekam shrivenu panchabandhuram.
So we're doing Canto 4, Chapter 25, 26. We're starting with Chapter 26. King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt, and his queen becomes angry. And we just started texts 1 through 3.
Ekarasyam ekadamanam ekanidam Kubaram Pancha Paharanam Sapta Varutam Panchavikramam Maimo Pashkaram Haruya Svarnam Varmakshayushira Ekadasa Chamunata Pancha Prashtamagarvanam. The great sage Narada continued, "My dear king, once upon a time, King Puranjana took up his great bow, and equipped with golden armor and a quiver of unlimited arrows, and accompanied by 11 commanders, he sat on his chariot, driven by 5 swift horses, and went to the forest named Panchaprastha. He took with him in that chariot 2 explosive arrows. The chariot itself was situated on 2 wheels and 1 revolving axle. On the chariot were 3 flags, 1 rein, 1 chariot driver, 1 sitting place, 2 poles to which the harness was fixed, 5 weapons, and 7 coverings. The chariot moved in 5 different styles, and 5 objects lay before it. All the decorations of the chariot were made of gold."
I think we've read this chapter. We've read up to 11, so let's start with 12.
Atmana marhayam chakre dupale prasragirpihi sarvalakrita sarvango mahesham adade mana. After this, King Puranjana decorated his body with suitable ornaments. He also smeared scented sandalwood pulp over his body and put on flower garlands. In this way, he became completely refreshed. After this, he began to search out for his queen.
When a man comes into good consciousness and accepts a saintly person as a spiritual master, he hears many Vedic instructions in the form of philosophy, stories, narrations about great devotees and transcendental and transactions between God and his devotees. In this way, a man becomes refreshed in mind, exactly like a person who smears scented sandalwood pulp all over his body and decorates himself with ornaments. These decorations may be compared to knowledge of religion and the self. Through such knowledge, one becomes detached from a materialistic way of life and engages himself in always hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other Vedic literatures. The word sadhva alankrita used in this verse indicates that one must be absorbed in knowledge gathered from the instructions of saintly persons. Just as King Puranjana began to search out his better half, the queen, one who is decorated with knowledge and instructions from saintly persons, one should try to search out his original consciousness, Krishna consciousness. One cannot return to Krishna consciousness unless he is favored by the instructions of a saintly person. Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur sings, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chitete Kariya Aikya. If we want to become saintly persons, or if we want to return to our original Krishna consciousness, we must associate with sadhu, a saintly person, shastra, authoritative Vedic literature, and guru, a bona fide spiritual master. This is the process.
Hare Krishna. My first thought that jumped into my mind is we actually have so many sadhus among us, and there's a story that I can't quite remember it, but Sankirtan Prabhu used to often tell it in New Vrindavan, and maybe someone knows it and can help me with it. It was in a monastery, and the monks were all fighting amongst each other. And I think the head monk said, "One of you is a sadhu, but he wouldn't say who it was. So then everybody started thinking, oh, is this person a sadhu? And started treating everyone with great respect, thinking, oh, they might be a sadhu. So I think that's one point to keep in mind, is there are many sadhus among us, and you don't know who they are. So you want to you want to treat everyone as they might be that sadhu in disguise. Would you like to add on to that?
I can add to recently Krishna Priya and I, we've been reading the book called Four Questions by His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, and some very wonderful realizations. I recommend that book to everyone. In there, he was mentioning a few things, all aligned, and that is basically an introductory book to Krishna consciousness, and it touches upon these basic topics of how we associate with sadhu, shastra, and guru. And in there, some points that I was able to retain. One was, if we come in with the mentality of, instead of saying, okay, why me, or why am I in trouble, if we can take any difficult situation and, turn it around and say, what is the lesson in it for me? Then every situation becomes something that is something we can learn from. So, and no matter how, in whatever situation we are in, if we're extremely exhausted, and he gave an example, and I'm quoting this example because it's easy for us to know who a sadhu is when we see these qualities in the person. So he gave the example of one time he was extremely hungry and he wanted to get prasadam, and unfortunately that day the prasadam server was not available, and so he had to, instead of honoring prasadam, he had to be the one to serve out prasadam to everybody. And that difficult situation of feeling extremely hungry and yet being put in a position to serve out prasadam actually turned out to be a very blissful experience, because he ended up, serving prasadam. So, and what the point he was making is that every situation, no matter how difficult it is, can turn into what is the lesson in this for me, and how can I be of service. So when you observe sadhus, they are always serving and finding every opportunity as a means to serve others. And you can see that they are blissful when they are serving others. So that was one point that I wanted to add when you say look for sadhus.
Actually, to continue what she was saying, is he had divided the book into, or this particular chapter on what is my service? Or that question. He had divided it into the classroom of relationships, the classroom of sacrifice, the classroom of tolerance, and what was the fourth one? And so just when I love that way of thinking about it, is that we're actually all in a school for sadhus. And so when you think about it like that, sometimes we read these descriptions of sadhus and he quoted the Bhagavad Gita. There's all this, this is a good interactive point. In the Bhagavad Gita, what is the description of a sadhu? What are some of the qualities? I know forgiveness. Can anyone remember others? Tolerance, patience, compassion, fully surrendered to Krishna. Well-wisher of all living entities. I think that is a qualification, knowledgeable. I think it's the 26 qualities of the devotees. That's right. That's in the Bhagavad Gita. I think that's the list. Yeah. So all of these are different qualities of the sadhu. But if you think of it that we're in the school, the classroom, then we kind of see that in a classroom you have some people are better at writing and some people are better at math. And some kids are better at, keeping their desk organized, and some kids are better at working well with other students. So everyone has their strengths. So when I think of like that we're in a school of sadhus, the same way, it's not like there's this high level of a sadhu and there's us, or there's devotees. We're all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and we're all growing toward the highest level. So that's an opportunity. And the other point he was saying is that the world is our mirror, or like the world is a mirror. So if we're seeing those sadhu qualities in everyone, that's the way we can grow those qualities within ourselves. So that's like the secret for developing those qualities, is being on that hunt, to that scavenger hunt in the classroom. Oh, this person has so much compassion. Oh, this person has so much fear. And then that will help us become sadhus.
And the other analogy I liked about treating the world as a school versus, there's so many analogies. Sometimes we refer to the world as a hospital. So I find treating the world as a school a very uplifting analogy, because instead of feeling that we're sick, we can feel we're here to learn, and we're going to graduate out of it and go where we're meant to go. So that analogy of thinking the world to be a school, we're here to learn. The sadhus are our mentors, our teachers, our gurus, our guides, who are setting the example. And we're here and we learn, and then we will graduate.
And one thing that struck me was that downward spiral of, and this is in the same chapter, we were just reading it, that downward spiral of victimhood. I can't remember the exact words he used, but it was like a deep spiral. And when we think about what does it mean to be a victim, is you think that everyone else is out to get me, and I haven't done anything wrong. So you're not taking responsibility for what you've done. So as soon as you give up that sense of responsibility for your actions, you're unable to see the lesson. And I think, so you're unable to see the world as a classroom if you do not take responsibility for your actions. And so the ultimate, I'm just sort of trying to grasp at an idea here, is like the karma is, the ultimate taking responsibility is taking responsibility for being here in this material world, that I have done things to put myself here. And so that's kind of what we want to focus on, is that sense of personal responsibility for everything that has happened to us. And it's actually an amazing experience when you start to, if you get angry at someone, like someone has done something to you to make you angry, then you start to think, wait, what is the lesson? What is that anger teaching me? And what is that person teaching me? And it immediately diffuses those emotions. So just on a very practical day-to-day level, taking those small steps toward responsibility and small steps toward seeing a lesson will actually, it's like all interconnected, it will actually help you be grateful.
So the book Four Questions starts with the power of asking questions. How questions are like hooks, and questions can also direct the conversation in the direction you want to take it. So actually, I think it's a great way for all of us to ask questions now and see where we would like to take this conversation for the next maybe 10 minutes. Any questions regarding, how to identify sadhus, or, if, or, for those of us who are looking for mentors or gurus?
Or questions about anything else that jump into your mind?
Yes, Dharma Prabhu. Mhm. Mhm.
Sneak peek ahead. Anyway, I don't mean to steal someone else's thunder, but I think that if there's neither a mother nor a devoted wife at home, home is like a chariot without wheels. Where is the fool who will sit down on such an unworkable chariot? So you were saying, so the queen gets angry?
Mhm.
Can you summarize what happens a little?
No, I haven't tried.
Okay.
But his question is, how do we get along with each other?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I think the secret is, first of all, gratitude. Like, even if someone does something that annoys you, just try to, or makes you angry, to try to be grateful and see how that's making you grow as a person. Because the two emotions cannot coexist. Like, there's an analogy, if you take a pencil, it's not an analogy, but if you actually take a pencil and you stick it, if you're angry and you take a pencil and you put it in your mouth, it'll make you smile, and you can't feel angry when you're smiling. So similarly, you can't, if you're feeling grateful, it's hard to be angry. Now, how to get to that point? And again, I think the way you feel grateful is to see the lesson. So I think that's the big point that, but again, there's emotions, no, I was just reading something about how, it's hard. Yeah, anyway, you want to add to that?
Sure, and then I'll ask Mother Prabhupada Priya to jump in. So my realization was that when someone expresses anger, it is sometimes like negative attention. They want your attention. So it's a better, if we have the ability, we can serve them some. So then the loving exchange is established. We're all hungry for love, and sometimes it comes out as anger and frustration. So when we serve those that are expressing that, then they are pacified. But of course, it is how much can we before we need our nourishment as well. So we nourish ourselves, and then we can nourish others. Yes, yes. Please claim your rightful position. Yeah, I'm here, I'm fine.
we go. Three Stooges here. Well, since we're talking in the context of Vaisheshika Prabhu and education, one thing that Vaisheshika Prabhu also says is that we should have an attitude that I live to be corrected. So if somebody's, mad at us, if somebody's, yelling at us, if somebody's, whatever, treating us in a way that is not pleasant, it may be because we did something wrong. They may be actually experiencing those negative feelings towards us for a reason. And instead of, pointing to that person like, what's wrong with you? What's your problem? Why are you overreacting? We should point to ourselves and be like, okay, what did I do to instigate this? Like, what is my responsibility in this situation? And that way we can always, if we're sincerely, always praying to Krishna to be better, to grow in our Krishna consciousness, and we honestly introspect, then Krishna is going to show us those things. He's always making it, because Krishna also wants us to learn. Here we are in school, it's like the teacher. When you come to the classroom, the teacher wants you to learn. So the teacher's going to do everything he or she can to facilitate learning. And if the teacher is very good, then if the student's not learning one way, then the teacher will try another strategy to get them to learn a lesson, right? Because we're talking about how students have different strengths, and they also have different learning styles. So some students can learn just by being told. Others, they can learn they need to read something. Others need to have a visual. Others need to have a song. Others need to make it into an activity. Others need to get outside and do some, experiment or some adventure. So in that way, if we don't learn one way, then Krishna gives us another way. And sometimes there's an easy way, and there's a hard way, and there's a relationship way, and there's a something else way, there's a health way, So, yeah, we should just be looking for the lesson, and have the attitude that I probably did something wrong, and I need to be corrected, and I live to be corrected. This is what this lifetime is for. Because I made a big mistake in coming to this material world, and that needs to be corrected so that before I can get back. And if this person is helping me to do it, then great. I welcome it. Is that okay?
I can just, I don't know, when I look at some of these elevated souls that we have in ISKCON, they look so beautiful. And I think that just having that knowledge and having that purified consciousness, you glow. And so that's how I saw it. It was that his beauty was the knowledge shining from within. But you might have some.
Yeah, and also the good qualities, right? There's a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Titikshava karunika suhridam sarvadehinam ajata shatrava shanta sadhava sadhu bhushana. So the word bhushana means ornaments. So the verse is saying that titikshava, tolerance, karunika, mercy, suhrida sarvadehinam means being a friend to all living entities. Ajata shatrava means that your enemy was never born. You have no enemies because you see everyone, as a friend. And shanta, peaceful. And sadhava means religious. Sadhu. So these are some of the ornaments of a sadhu. So ornaments are those things that make you beautiful and that make you attractive. And so, those are the ornaments. Like sadhus don't have to wear jewelry and makeup and have hairstyles and fancy clothes. They just need to cultivate good qualities, and that's the real beauty. Because real beauty is not something external; it's internal. Yeah. What he's searching for is his real intelligence, because he's recognizing his ignorance. He's recognizing how he's been acting in ignorance. He's been going out and just trying to pursue sense gratification in the forest of material enjoyment. And now he's coming back and he's actually looking for real intelligence, like his spiritual intelligence, which can actually help him in life, and which is beautiful. Yeah. We'll see, Saki.
How to find her? She's putting me in. Well, we come back to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So, you know, seeking spiritual intelligence is associating with those that we can clearly perceive are in a more advanced situation than us, and inquiring from them with a humble approach, and then following their instructions, and then, you know, reading Shastra and recognizing that their instructions are aligned with Shastra. So. Mhm. Mhm.
If a person is actually sincere, then Krishna will help. Right? If a person is actually sincerely wants to connect with spiritual intelligence, wants to get real transcendental knowledge by which they can understand themselves, understand the purpose of life, understand the absolute truth, make spiritual advancement, then Krishna is not going to just leave you for lost. You know, so it's a rare soul that even seeks the truth. And Krishna wants that. That's what this whole world is for, is just to bring us to that point. If someone comes to that point, Krishna's not going to be like, whatever, you know, just leave them in ignorance. He's like, no, he's going to be like having a party. Yes, finally, a soul wants to connect with spiritual intelligence. A soul wants to know me again. You know, he's going to make every arrangement for you to be able to have the association that you need, get the good instruction, develop faith in the process, and be engaged in service. There's another way that intelligence arises is through service, right? Krishna says, Tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam pratipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. Those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding, I give them the buddhi, the intelligence by which they can come to me. So, yeah, Krishna, don't worry, Krishna will make all the, we just need to be sincere. That's what, like in Nectar Devotion, Rupa Goswami says that there's only one qualification for pure devotional service, for beginning pure devotional service, and that is sincerity. So we just need to be very sincere, and Krishna will take care of everything else.
Just to add something from Vaisheshika Prabhu's book that really struck me was he was saying, like, Krishna, he's created thirst, but then he's created water to satiate that thirst, and he's created hunger, but then he's created food to fill that hunger, and he's also, we all have this quest for truth, and he's created the answers. So but to access that, we have to be a sincere seeker, going to a qualified person, asking the right questions. I thought that was nice.
Yes.
I just, 3 words came to my mind: cry for Krishna.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's probably like anything that sincerity grows. You know, it starts as a seed, and
probably grows with your devotion. It is your devotion.
You want to sit up here?
There's room for one more.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah. Yeah, requires a lot of humility, right?
As parents, we get corrected a lot, even by our children. They like to say what nobody will say.
As far as, yeah, just Dharma Prabhu, your point that we're thinking that other people are causing us difficulty, but actually the difficulty is my attitude. It reminds me of the Avanti Brahmin from the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, that he was traveling and people were just being extremely abusive to him, you know, just mistreating him, beating him, spitting on in his face, urinating on his food. It was bad. And but at the end, he just like kind of became very contemplative, and he said, actually, these people are not the cause of my happiness and distress, nor are the planets or the demigods or, you know, my karma or time or my body. None of these things are the cause of my happiness and distress. It is the mind alone. So the point he was making is that it's how I'm taking it. It's my perception of it. So anything can be happening to us, and many things will happen to us. But if we have that perception, if we have that way of seeing it, that this is for my instruction, this is for my benefit, and actually we can look at any situation, you know, especially for devotees, because when we surrender to Krishna, then our lives are in Krishna's hand. Everything is happening by the personal. It's not even a question of karma anymore. It's the personal hand of Krishna in our lives. And so we can look at every situation and think, this is the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And if we have that attitude, that's when we can start learning, and we can trust Krishna. That Krishna, I don't know what's happening right now, but I trust that you know what you're doing and that this is good for me. In fact, this is the best thing for me. And I'm just going to take more and more shelter of you and the devotees and service, and let's see where this goes. And often when we look back on our lives at very difficult situations, we're thinking, wow, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, that just opened up a whole new like opportunity for service. It brought me closer to Krishna. It transformed me in a positive way.
I was just appreciating, you know, the points you made. So.
Anything else? We still have a few minutes. Yes, Mother Sucharya. Yeah, sometimes we take these incidents, thank you, Manasi Chai. Sometimes we take the incidences of our lives so seriously, like it's the end of the world. But even if we look at if you look at like from the perspective of the beings in higher planets, our lives are so short. You know, like this planet is called Martyaloka because from their perspective, it's like we're just born and then immediately we die. It's just like the Prabhupada says there's one insect that its whole lifespan is 24 hours. You know, it's born, it grows, it finds a mate, it reproduces, it gets old, and it dies within 24 hours. And so from the perspective of higher beings, that's us. we born, we go to school, we grow up, we find some partner, we have some kids, we earn some money, we do our stuff, we get old, and we die. So from the point of view, it's so short. And yet, you know, even if you observe an ant, they're like completely determined. You know, you see some two like animals fighting, it's like they're fighting for the death, you know. So we get sometimes into this kind of animal consciousness where we think that these things are so important. But really what's important and what's amazing about this human form of life on this planet is that although it's an ocean of faults, like it says in the 12th canto, but just by chanting Hare Krishna, we can get liberation. And so actually we're so blessed because in the human form of life, we have the opportunity to worship the Lord by chanting His holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this process that's so easy and yet so powerful. And actually the demigods are lining up to take birth in this age because they're seeing that, wow, they have such short lives and they have such an easy process. And in such a quick time through that easy process, they can just go back to Godhead. And it's so bad, the material situation is so bad that there's really nothing, there's no other option. There's no other option. It's not even tempting, you know, to go out and try to enjoy material life. Like in the heavenly planets, it's very tempting. They get distracted. So it's like, yeah, the only option is to chant Hare Krishna. And by chanting Hare Krishna, you go back just like that. You're born, you chant, you go back to Godhead. Haribol. So, yeah, we just have to embrace this process and don't get too... don't let these things sidetrack us. You know, it's like what Prabhupada says in the purport in first canto where Mother Kunti Devi is praying, prayers of Queen Kunti. He says that the suffering in this life is like a dream in which you dream that you're being chased by a tiger and you're feeling so much fear and anxiety. He said, but actually there's no tiger and there's no suffering. It's just a matter of dreams. So we shouldn't be distracted by the so-called suffering and enjoyment of this world. We're eternal souls. The soul's eternally blissful. And we just need to do what a soul needs to do. Chant Hare Krishna, connect with Krishna, and go back home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and in that sense, it's a boon, you know. We don't have to stay here very long. We can just chant Hare Krishna and go back home very quick. We just need to take this process seriously and stop messing around. Okay.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
That was a first. In my 18 years, I've not given class. Really? Oh my gosh. I hope that gave you some confidence. It felt so nice to be mentored. Thank you. I mean, I was really heavily relying on having the book because, you know, then all the points were fine, but then not having it.
I know, I was remembering half points. Like he made a whole, he made a whole point. Very such, like, I'm not good at thinking, so I was really appreciating you being in it.
You're so tuned in.
I mean, I remember things.
The more you give class, the more you
I'm like, I'll remember
Once you start saying it's gonna happen.
Because I was thinking of Bhante Brahman. I was thinking, what do I remember about the Bhante Brahman? That what I was thinking. I couldn't even remember the
If
story.
you're giving class on that. Yeah, this reminds me of the bunch of ramen. Can anyone tell that?
No, but you have a good memory too. Like you were remembering the point from the book. I'm like, I have my brain. I'm like, this is really nice. It really helps. How much more?
We all
I just really